Well, good morning, Beaumont. I'm saying go Doge. The Department of Governmental Efficiency said over the weekend they found the SBA had granted thousands of loans that were worth hundreds of millions of dollars to children. Some of them were as young as 9, 10, or 11 years old. That's right. These children, 9, 10, and 11 years old, received millions of dollars worth of loans from the government. In a post on social media platform X, reposted by Elon Musk, Doge wrote that in the COVID-19 pandemic years of 2020 and 2021, the Small Business Administration granted 5,593 loans worth $312 million to borrowers whose only listed owner was 11 years old or younger at the time of the loan. Was it possible to have business arrangements where this is legal, where a child, a mere child, under the age of 12 is able to sign for $1 million loan? Seems highly unlikely. And they also used a Social Security number that did not match the name. Anyway, the Doge and the SBA are now working to investigate the matter. The Epoch Times contacted the SBA for comment on Sunday. Around the same time on Saturday, Doge wrote in a post that it found the Small Business Administration had issued 3,095 loans for $333 million, once again to borrowers whose age was over 115. These borrowers, it said, were listed as alive by the Social Security database, and so why not just loan them some money? You know, a couple of $1,000,000 here, a couple of $1,000,000 there. In the words of a former statesman, which only my older listeners will know who it is, in the words of Everett Dirksen, $1 million here and $1 million there, pretty soon you're talking about some real money. Anyway, in one case, a 157-year-old individual received a loan for a mere $36,000, but it also included paycheck protection and economic injury. So, as of Saturday, the Doge said the U.S. Department of Agriculture contract worth $10.3 million that was started for identifying unnecessary contracts has been canceled. That's right. The Department of Agriculture contract worth $10.3 million, and that contract was for identifying unnecessary contracts, has been canceled, noting it was one of the 162 non-essential contracts that had been terminated. Since the start of the new Trump administration, Doge has been combing through the federal agency to find waste that it can slash in order to save money. The organization is not without its critics. In fact, seems to be nothing but critics out there on the left. And once again, you got to remember they own the media. All of the major media, NBC, ABC, CBS, MSDNC, CNN, and yes, even Fox News. All of them are run by the left, and none of them have told the truth about anything for a very long time. And, of course, they're constantly questioning the Doge's legality. There's no question about that. And they're questioning the fact that Musk has been hired to do this. So, as of March 7th, a group of labor unions asked a federal court for an emergency order to stop Doge from accessing Social Security data. I mean, why would you want them to be able to look at Social Security data just because they've got millions of people that are over the age of 105 getting all of that Social Security? The motion for emergency relief was in the federal court in Maryland by the legal services group Democracy Forward. You might want to also call it Karl Marx Incorporated. Leland Dudek, the unions want the court to block Doge's access to the vast troves of personal data held by the agency because they're afraid of the fraud that is going to be uncovered there. So while the judges have raised questions in several cases about Doge's sweeping cost-cutting efforts conducted with little public information in its staffing operations, the judges have not always agreed that the risks are imminent enough to block Doge from governmental systems. Once again, you got to understand we've got congressmen who have staffers, some of whom have not even gotten a college degree yet, and they've had access to this for years. And this could be why we have so many people over the age of 105 that apparently are getting Social Security checks. The judges are overthrowing the will of the people. It's just that simple. These judges were appointed by one person in most cases, and they were not elected in most cases, whereas Donald Trump was elected by a plurality of the country. Almost every county in the United States voted in a huge landslide majority for Donald Trump to be president, and they knew that Donald Trump was going to bring in Elon Musk, and Elon Musk was going to hire a team of geniuses, and they were going to get to the bottom of the government spending. You want to find out where your tax dollars have been going? You want to find out why the government has been robbing you blind and why you've had trouble buying eggs and bacon? The government has been spending millions and millions of dollars of your money on garbage. So I say go Doge. I'm very, very, very happy with what the Doge is doing. Well, up to this point. I don't think they're doing it fast enough. I don't think they're doing it quite big enough. But the point is, your government has been robbing you blind and spending that money on things you would never authorize. And it's about time that we fixed it. Now this. Over in Europe, a large group of, quote, French feminists did what any woman trying to be taken seriously would do. They took off their shirts and painted themselves up, decorated with various flags, swastikas, and the message of fascist epidemic, and they bounced down the street. Heil Donald Trump, Heil Vladimir Putin, Heil Elon Musk, Heil Viktor Orban, Heil Giorgia Meloni, Heil Marine Le Pen. Now, these people that they're calling fascist, that they're trying to tell you that are taking away your rights, these are actually the individuals that are trying to restore the rights. And once again, I think if we got to the bottom of this, we'd probably find George Soros and company has been behind it, and that these women were all paid, and they're probably ladies of the evening that were paid large sums of money to get out and march down the street like this. It's not going to work. It's not going to solve the problem. Look, we all know what liberty is. We all know what freedom is, and we know what Hitler did. We know that these people that they're talking about, especially when I'm looking over there, for instance, at Le Pen and Giorgia Meloni. I mean, these are people who understand the importance of liberty. And once again, what are we talking about? We're talking about restoring your liberty through finding waste and fraud in the government. And one of the things I'm excited about is we're going to find out very soon how a politician who makes a little over $100,000 a year all of a sudden becomes a multi-millionaire. Meanwhile, some of you may have noticed this yesterday. Elon Musk, the owner of the platform X, said that there was a massive cyber attack launched against the site with IP addresses originating in the Ukraine region. Additionally, Newsweek reported that a pro-Palestinian hacker group known as Dark Storm Team took responsibility for the attacks. The group is known primarily for targeting countries and entities that support Israel's attack on Gaza following the Hamas surprise attack on October the 7th, where hundreds of civilians and children were either kidnapped or killed. According to Orange Cyber Defense, Dark Storm Team is unconfirmed but highly likely links to Russia and strong partnerships with other groups. I don't know about that. The Dark Storm Team, a pro-Palestinian cyber group known for launching distributed denial of service attacks, DDoS, claims the attack on X. And Musk told Fox Business host Larry Kudlow on Monday afternoon that we're not exactly sure what happened, but it was a massive cyber attack to try to bring down X. Earlier in the day, Musk had posted on the platform, this was a massive cyber attack. We get attacked every day, but this was done with a lot of resources. It was either a large coordinated group or perhaps a state-sponsored situation. Sky News reports that complaints against the outages on X began on Monday morning. A source in the internet infrastructure industry told Reuters that the platform was hit by several waves of DDoS attacks, denial of service attacks, around 9:45 United Kingdom time. I guess that'd be Greenwich Mean Time. According to the National Cybersecurity Center, denial of service attacks are attempts to overload a website or a network, aiming to degrade its performance and make it completely inaccessible to actual paid users. Such attacks are not necessarily sophisticated, but they can cause significant disruption, according to Sky News. The way these things work, for instance, they might just be going to the particular server and asking, what time is it? Except for they do that 120 times a minute. And you have multiple bots that have been enslaved across the area, in many cases across the world. And these are often computers that are infected. You don't know that your computer's infected, and you're not home, and they're using your computer to attack somebody else. Musk, who purchased the site, proudly stated the platform is the top source for news on Earth. In addition to Monday's cyber attack on X, vandals continue to target Tesla showrooms and Tesla charging stations. This is because they hate the fact that Elon Musk is trying to save you money, and it's just driving them crazy. So what sense does this make? You know, all of the leftists claim to be wanting to be green. They claim to want to remove pollution. And here you have Tesla, an electric car, the largest electric car manufacturer in the world, the number 3 car dealer in America. And I'm sorry, it's a number 5 car dealership in America. And yet this is the guy they want to go after. Well, my friends, it makes no sense at all. What we're dealing with is simply the forces of good versus evil. And finally, let me say this. You're listening to this station, and so are most of your friends. And if they're not, of course, you should call them and tell them, hey, you should be listening to Freedom 1300. So the Doc Green Show is here every day around 7:45, give or take. We are entering the golden era of America, and it's time for it to be the golden era for your business. So that's why you need to call Doc today. And you should be advertising here, 281-914-1331. 281-914-1331. We will make your phone ring. You have a choice, and you chose Freedom 1300.